Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fleurs de Bulgarie from Creed. I'm really excited to bring this review to you guys. I don't have many Creeds in my collection and I always like reviewing them for you guys. You guys seem to want to know what I think about these fragrances. So yeah, let's go. Foremost guys, I bought that bottle. This is not a sponsored review. As you guys know, my reviews are generally consumer reviews. I'm giving you guys my opinions. I am not an expert. Let me change that. There we go. I will never say I'm an expert. I will tell you guys to always take my reviews into consideration, especially if you like my nose and the type of fragrances that I enjoy. But I always tell people to go out there and do the best information or get the most information you can before you make purchases, specifically expensive bottles like Creed. Even when you buy them discount, they're still very expensive. I would highly recommend sampling. Alright, that's kind of like a little disclaimer. I don't do it very often, but when I do talk about very hyped up houses, very expensive luxury houses, I kind of like to let you guys know that I'm not coming at you an expert. This review is not sponsored by anybody. Bought this bottle with my own money. So that being said, this fragrance is one of the fragrances from Creed that not too many people talk about, and there's specific reasons why I think that is. Let's get into the notes and then I'll kind of tell you guys how it smells. The notes you get out of this are Bergamot, Bulgarian rose, Ambergris, and it's also heavy on the musk. Now this is supposed to be a rose fragrance, supposed to be Queen Victoria's fragrance. It's supposed to be very regal. This is a very heavy, abrasive, astringent rose fragrance. Now if you guys have watched my channel, you guys know I love rose fragrances. I like them in pretty much any variety you can get. Candied, sugared, sweet, garden, tea, just jammy. I mean, I pretty much love a rose fragrance, and this one is no exception. There's a reason why I own this. There's a reason why I bought this. It's because I like it. But I am going to pull, again, as always, myself out of this review and my tastes in fragrances and tell you guys about how this grows on the skin, develops on the skin, and things like that. First and foremost, if you're looking for a sweet rose fragrance, this is not it. This is actually more thorn than rose, is how I like to describe this fragrance. It's very astringent, it's very abrasive, it's very aggressive. In fact, you get little to no rose in the opening. It's all really just like very bright and crisp and sharp and green. So you get a lot of bergamot, you get a lot of the musk. The rose kind of comes in a little bit more as it develops on your skin or opens up on your skin after about an hour. Now initially when I wore this fragrance, I didn't like it. It took me like 3 little vials of samples to go through to decide that I actually really loved this fragrance. The reason why I didn't like this at first is I was expecting some kind of rich, regal, like rose banquet or bouquet, and again, this is not that fragrance. Instead, this is a very sharp, aggressive, green, just thorny fragrance is the best way I can describe it, but there is rose in there, which is really, really nice. The opening of this is very musky, it's very heavy, and throughout the entire lifespan of this fragrance, it is a very heavy fragrance. It's a very bold fragrance. But the longer that I wore this fragrance on my skin, it became a little bit softer and the notes became a little bit more rounded and less sharp. The longer that fragrance sat on my skin, the more all the notes kind of married together and worked really well with my skin, and it became something very crisp and very green with like this rose underlying scent to it, which is really, really nice. The rose never was overpowering. You didn't have to go looking for the rose, but it wasn't like bam in your face. Again, a lot of this fragrance was the musk and the ambergris, and most definitely the bergamot. Even though the bergamot was a top note, it's there pretty much the entire lifespan of this fragrance. Once the nose came in, again, everything became a little bit more rounded, a little bit softer, a touch, little bit powdery, but in no way did it ever become not an aggressive fragrance. Now, even though I'm using terms like aggressive, sharp, thorns, I actually really love the complexity and body of this fragrance. I love the fact that you predominantly just get musk, rose, and bergamot, but if you kind of think about those notes, this fragrance is a lot more jarring. It's a lot more surprising than I thought it was going to be when I initially tried it. When I tried it in the Creed counter before I got samples, it was actually somebody had sampled it, had spritzed it on a strip, and this was a while ago, and they were smelling it, and I just came up to the counter and I was talking with my SA, and they're like, oh, try this one, you know, because we were just talking together. And that's around the time where it had kind of like dried down on the strip, and it was a lot softer than it was on my skin. So when I went home and put this on my skin, I was like, holy crap, where did this come from? I didn't sign up for this. But it did take me a lot of times to really see the beauty in this fragrance, and it is one of those fragrances where either you're really gonna love it and appreciate it and get it, or you're just gonna be completely like, why would I want to wear this? Well, it's definitely one of the fragrances from Creed that doesn't get a lot of hype and attention, and I believe that is because it is one of those fragrances that kind of smells a little bit dated. Again, whenever you get something that's really heavy on the musk, especially when you partner it with like a floral, like a rose, or like a white floral, like a gardenia, you're definitely it's gonna feel dated. And that's another thing about this fragrance too. It is sharp, it is aggressive, it is very green, and it does kind of twinge a little bit on the dated side, especially in the opening when the musk is like bam in your face. But again, the beauty of this fragrance is once it dries down and everything comes together, and you get this really beautiful, kind of like almost like a bitter green rose fragrance, which is really, really nice. If you're one of those people that likes to wear really heavy fragrances and you live in tremendous heat and humidity like I do, you always kind of want to make sure that your fragrances are very well balanced. And that's another reason why I really like this fragrance. It is very heavy. It's never not heavy. It's never not a heavy rose fragrance. But because a lot of that heaviness comes from the bergamot and a lot of that heaviness comes from the musk, it makes it very crisp and green, which actually works really well in heat and humidity. This is one of those heavier fragrances that if I really want to wear a heavy rose fragrance on a very hot, humid day, this is the one that I would reach for. Well, this fragrance is definitely not for everybody, and I definitely recommend sampling this before you purchase this. This is not a fragrance you should buy blind ever. But if you do like rose fragrances and you have a lot in your collection and you want something a little bit different, this might be worth checking out. So overall, I really like it. And again, let's talk about real quick before I forget, the longevity and the projection. The longevity on this is crazy. It lasts about 10 to 12 hours on my skin with just 3 spritzes. You cannot overspray this fragrance, guys, but it sticks to your skin like glue, and this projects like it's so loud. So I wouldn't recommend this in professional settings because it is one of those like crazy kind of astringent, crisp, sharp rose fragrances. I don't think everybody would like it, but it's definitely one that I enjoy wearing if I'm around the house or if I'm going out shopping or just hanging out with family and I just want to wear something really heavy and nice. It just makes me feel like sophisticated. Definitely reach for this one, but I would not wear it in work or theater or class or any professional environment. I do think this one is a little bit more leaning towards an evening fragrance, but I do think depending on where you live, this could be a very nice afternoon or morning fragrance. If it's cool outside or if you're in really strong humidity and you want something heavy to wear and you just like wearing heavy fragrances, but it's hard to find something in the daytime, this is definitely one that would be daytime appropriate too. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you liked this video. Again, I know this fragrance isn't for everybody, but it is definitely for me, but it took a lot of time for me to fall in love with this. This definitely wasn't a love at first sniff fragrance, but I do really enjoy it. So I hope you guys liked this video and this review, and as always, if you like these videos and reviews and my fragrance videos, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this, and also don't forget to subscribe because it's free and I'm free. And I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends as well. So I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye.